ethical consideration and perception when it comes to artificial intelligence is quite urgent topic, and thank Monica to increase this in front of us. Now it's time to continue with the second part of the spin-offs discussion. Actually, probably some of you wondering why you didn't hear the typical pitch deck. My answer is you will, but later. So Emil Siekierczyński, again, I want to invite you on the stage to represent the second group, quite interesting also. This is spin-offs, quite successful, foreign spin-off with great experience, but still founded by Bulgarian, which is, I think, also very interesting case study.
Thank you very much, Christina. I would like to call on stage those startups. First one, Hamel Amrania, PhD and CEO of DigiStain. Hamel, come on stage. Second one, actually two, Dr. Stefan Price, he's the CEO, and Petko Iliev, he's the COO of Physify. Please come on stage. And Hans, is Hans with us? I'm glad you made it. Hans Hof, he's the CEO of Bullcharge. It's a Bulgarian company founded by foreigners.
Exactly.
Good luck.
Hello. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure your feedback will be heard and be useful for us Bulgarians, but also foreigners who watch us. So we'll start and we'll do it a bit quicker than the last session. So first, the stage is yours to tell a few words about your company and yourself.
Yeah, the company that we're introducing is a spin-off of our other company. The other company is working in the EDC field, so we're doing electronical trials and we do real-world data. And the spin-off we are working with is based in the field of feasibility. It's called Physify. And the idea of the tool is to, how do you say, guide trials into the right direction, having the right patient with the right centers. I think that's something very important because 85% of the trials do not run because they lack of the right patients, and we combine our technology with real-world data that we receive from the centers, and I think that's a very quite exciting process because we're able to say where are the right patients, and yeah, we hope to make the landscape of clinical trials better with this.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Hans Hauf, typically not Bulgarian name, I think. Living in Sofia now for 10 years, so I start feeling Bulgarian, so maybe that helps also for this. My background is, I'm engineer and business, let's say entrepreneur, a lot involved in startups. I think I started about 20 companies. Some were successful. Absolutely, a few were a disaster. At the last years, I'm active in data and everything which has to do with data. And I think that, let's say, I call data is the new money of the future. And data is also from all of us. So all the data, all the AI, in my view, which AI is needed, this data, in order to build their models, yeah, that's from us. And that means that we have to arrange that. And some of our startups is in that area, how to ensure that the data which is from you and me and us, how that stays our data and how to benefit from it. So it is not Bullcharge. Bullcharge is a company here in Bulgaria where we, in fact, build charging infrastructure for electrical cars. But we look at it also, again, from a data perspective. So we create charging stations, but we put them in a, let's say, in the clouds, and made, in fact, a virtual representation of a charging station in the cloud and connected them to new services. And we're experimenting that now in the Bulgarian market, and in order to move it to other markets around us. So that gives a little bit of a view who I am and what I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, thank you for the warm welcome. So I'm Hemel, founder of DigiStain. DigiStain is a Harvard and Y Combinator funded spin-out technology company from Imperial College. And we set out with a mission to eliminate healthcare inequalities in breast cancer. So there are about 2.3 million new breast cancer cases every year. But one of the biggest problems is that over 95% of them don't have access to a Western standard of care. And that's because the technology, the incumbent technology in Western countries to help these patients get the care they need relies on shipping the biopsy all the way over to a single laboratory in California, in the USA. And what's unimaginable for most people is that 90% of the world's biopsies that are, need this test are flown to the USA. And that means that there's a huge healthcare inequality because patients in India, in Africa, in Eastern Europe can't even afford this test. So we've taken this slow, prohibitively expensive wet lab process and turned it into an AI-driven, software-based solution. So that's our mission, to help eradicate healthcare inequalities in cancer care. Thanks.
Very interesting. All of you have a significant effect over us. And I would like to start with the first question that we, the Bulgarian startups and SpinOff, are a bit struggling to answer. As a SpinOff, how do you benefit from the AU networks? European networks, connections, collaboration, funding.
So I can go first if you like. So we are a US company ultimately, but we've been funded by several Bulgarian investors. So we're proud to have a lot of European support. In fact, we just made it to the semi-finals of EIT Health, which is an organization mandated to help spin-off companies within Europe and give them the support they need to deliver on their mission. And I think what is, particularly for me, or as a founder of a healthcare-focused spin-off, one of the challenges that I've faced is navigating the complex market access landscape, which is highly varied across Western Europe, all the way across to Eastern Europe, where we are today. And having people within these European networks, both for fundraising support and also for advising on how to navigate through this complex landscape has been invaluable. I think one of the major challenges we faced is after Brexit, somebody who is based in London, based in the UK, who is pulled out of Europe, there have been major challenges in accessing both the funding, but also the advice for regulatory support in mainland Europe, so to speak.
Yeah, well, from if you look at Bull Charge, we are a spin-off from a European project. And so we had a project 2 years ago called, I forget now what the name was. Normally I should tell the name, but that is not the case now. And from that research project where we were looking whether we could create digital, let's say, twins of a charging station in the cloud and connect it in the cloud. From that we said we make a startup, and we created here in Bulgaria that setup. We worked with local partners, we worked with the Digital Innovation Hub here in Bulgaria, and as such we could bring...
No, closer, just closer to you. Closer to you, it works.
Closer, wow, now hear myself also. Yeah. But let's say, so in this way we, let's say, we made quite some use from the European infrastructure and the national infrastructure in Bulgaria.
Yeah, in your case, it's really relevant and crucial.
For me, that was, let's say for Bull Charge, it was crucial. Otherwise, we would have done something else. But this was, the project was a success from technology point of view. And what I always try to do, because I was involved in many European projects, and is always to create a spin-off from that project. Because there are too many projects which, in my view, stand still. And after the European project ends, then everybody is looking at the reports, how beautiful they are, and they forget that they have to do something with it.
Yeah.
And we try to
Thank
move
you.
there.
Physify, I would like to emphasize also the first interaction. Can you tell us a bit more concisely about your activities before answering the questions?
Well, our activities deal in the direction, like I said, the problem in I think all the world, but especially in Germany, because it's a special market, is that it's very hard to find the patients for the trials, and it's very hard to find the centers. And the tool that we develop, or that is developed, is a possibility of bringing people together in that field, of the stakeholders, giving the possibility to collaborate and put all the things together, but having the help of real-world data, meaning we're able to collect data from local doctors, telling the ones who are searching for clinical trials, where can you find your patients, because this is one of the biggest problems that they have. Also, they can understand, while we have these real-world data, what kind of patient they can expect. Can they answer their question to a clinical trial, which is very important, because if you look on the development of medical devices or of medication, there's a lot of money in this market, and a lot of money is going to be lost because there's not the right patient and there's not the right design for the trial. So our aim is to change these things. And when it comes to the EU, I have to say, we are grassrooted. We are in the good position that we have a mother company that is Nutrition in Us. I would say it's a very fast-changing market, especially in Germany. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the German market. We slept for a long time, and now the dragon woke up, and we think we have to do everything very fast. So there's a lot of changing in the technology, and the stakeholders who have been in positions to decide who is having some money from the EU funds, they sometimes do not understand the needs of a startup or of a spin-off, and in that sense, we didn't feel that we have much financial support. But same here, we have a good research background, so we are very well known for 20 years in the research area. So this is a huge network that we can use, and from there we have our support.
I understand.
Yeah, for me, I haven't been in Bulgaria the last 10 years, but and I don't know how the ecosystem is here, but what I see in the EU, and especially in Germany, so we have so many events connected to the startups, and it's such a huge ecosystem. I've been myself last 5 months to 4 events probably. They were huge. I was to Bits and Pretzel Healthcare. I was to Bits and Pretzel Munich Startup. So we have all these events, and this is a huge network where you meet investors, where you meet other startups, where you see great ideas, and you're able to elaborate on them and to see what the people are doing. So I think this is really something that helps a lot the other spin-offs and startups to see how the other people are doing and what they are doing, and actually also helps to speak with investors, to help to find investors and to see what they're thinking about the finance.
I believe we have the same network of events and support here in Bulgaria as well, but it's something that we are missing, in my opinion, is the connection between the other European events network and connection and ours. There is some consolidation that we need to work around, and I believe that this conference is part of this. So out of the protocol question, how do you think we can connect these two networks, the local and the European ones?
Well, what I've noticed, actually, there were some in our field, big pharma companies, for example, they have their own, so to say, scouting companies that look for innovation, and this is how we bring the industry together with the startups, with the startup ecosystem. So I think on this level is something that is worth thinking. On a bigger picture, bringing corporate together with the startups so that we can grow some kind of ecosystem.
Hans, also, we'll get back to you. Hans, as a foreigner that has been living in Bulgaria, how do you see this connection happening?
Well, the connection is only happening between people. So I think it's very important to meet and to see people and to talk with people. and to be open to that and to step to other people to collaborate. That's the basis of all collaboration, and that's within a country. I see that within Bulgaria. If I sit still, nothing happens. I have to move. I have to go. And in a similar way, it's the similar way in Europe. You really have to open up and to make your steps. We as Pool Charge work intensively together with companies and organizations in Romania and in the Netherlands at the moment. And we're moving even outside of Europe and going to the Middle East. So we really think that talking, collaborating, not only on research, but also with a focus on business is very important for startups and spin-offs.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. The next question. You as a founder, as a spin-off, successful spin-off, I say, what future trends and opportunities do you see? What technologies are going to be the next thing? How can be there in the spin-off sector?
Well,
Prediction question.
I think I give the answer in my first introduction already. I think data and data-driven services, whether it's AI, let's say on top of the data, I think that is really a part of future, important future, a very important technology. But I think, and also what I saw in the discussions on the let's say before us, keeping the people connected to this and to this world is a challenge. And so that is a challenge for all of us, all in our, let's say, IT data-driven world. Keeping the rest of the people connected, that will be, let's say, important.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I have just a few things to add to that answer. I think it's a great answer. I strongly believe that data is a segue to a new paradigm. So one of the biggest challenges we face in clinical innovation, and I'm speaking with a clinical focus here, is, for example, let's take things like early cancer diagnosis. We know that early cancer diagnosis is a big goal, a big milestone that everyone's trying to achieve. But it's not as simple as clinical innovation, right? It's not. The answer isn't simply a clinical answer. The answer is often couched in behavior change. You've got to get women to the testing centers, things like this. So with access to data now and the computing power to help analyze that data and draw meaningful conclusions, it's given us access to a whole new way to tackle those behavior change challenges that we face. That's my view.
Stefan?
Of course, I cannot give some view in the future. I'm not able to do that. But I think one of the things that I find personally very important as working as a doctor, for example, I think it's necessary that you are able to understand what is going on with this technology. I'm talking about of an adult that is able to understand what the technology does. And I think that was also some of the intentions of the speaker of the last round. I give an example. When I'm a doctor and I'm sitting in my office, so there's a patient coming to my office and he already knows a lot of things about his own illness. So he comes with all these things from Google, from ChatGPT. So I'm, as a personal doctor, in these 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes that I have to talk with this patient, it's a very short brick that I can have, how do you say, on the add-ons to put some information to the other side. So I think if we need one thing in the future is something like software that helps us or tools that help us to overcome this gap that we feel in short, let's say, appointments and short possibilities.
Interesting.
I see so much disruption in every industry, and I'm so happy that there were so many people from the medical field here. And but what I want to stress is that actually to work with the data, and what you said is we need to know about this data. So, and what the previous speaker said, I'm lacking kind of the disruption in education, and I think this is something where we need to see a new trend developing, because we need to, our kids are the ones that are going to work with the data in 10 years, and they are educated in completely different way. They don't. So we need to see some disruption there, and I hope to see something.
Thank you, Peter. I would like to ask you the one last question and answer it shortly and concisely as you can. How do you encourage innovation in innovation culture in your venture?
I can start with it. I think the most important thing is to give some kind of autonomy to the people, and then to reward mistakes. I think this is crucial, because if you punish mistakes, then you don't do anything. Innovations usually comes from experimenting, doing different things. So basically, that's what I think.
Thanks.
I would say one of the most important things is turning back from the parts I have experienced from 20 years in my company. It was always blocking the information, don't share information with others. I think there need to be a complete switch. We need to be very much open. We need to share concepts, and we need to work together on the problems.
Good advice.
So just to echo what Hans was saying earlier, I think access to good data is necessary to drive impactful innovation. And practically, what does that look like? As an entrepreneur, it's our job, it's my job, to go out there and speak to users to gather their feedback. And I think that what a lot of startups don't do is speak often enough to their users. Speaking often enough to their users equips you with the data that you need to drive further innovation.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Well, for me, in Bullcharge, but also in the other ventures I started, we had intensive discussions with clients and with customers. Mm-hmm. And I must say, I learned a lot from that. And then, let's say, trying to learn, let's say, that learning I try to translate in innovations. It is not that sometimes you have a bright idea and say, well, that's it, and I'm now going to work on it. You have to validate that idea really in the market with real customers, and then bring that back into your innovation. And I think that is the way to do it. And also when you have a startup or a spin-off, yeah, then you have to keep that doing. You cannot stop with that.
Thank you very much. So I will summarize. Get feedback, ask, gather information, then develop. Allow your team to do mistakes, and don't be afraid to talk. So thank you very much for this advice. It's useful for any company, not just a spin-off. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.